Good evening. Thank you for coming out in this rainy weather. We are returning back from closed session at 6:07. And we have one, there is one report from closed session. And that was on a motion that was made by Donna Friedman and seconded by Carrie Chen from the Board of Education. Approved the settlement agreement with employee number WW5948301, which includes resignation. The vote of the board was as follows: Carrie C. Chen, yes. Lynn Evankamp, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David M. Malkin, yes. And Angelina Pride, due to a family emergency, was not able to attend and was marked as absent. Okay, now we have the flag salute. We'll be led in the flag salute by Sarah Smith from Telesis Academy.
Everybody please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sarah Smith. That was wonderful. Made the whole evening. We have, let's see, board recognition? Yeah, board recognitions. On behalf of the board, I would like to recognize and thank the Telesis Academy students, parents, staff, and community members for attending tonight's board meeting. Telesis Academy Principal, Mr. Johan Schmitz, along with students, Yvonne Barney and Clarissa Kabula, and Eva Guzman will provide a brief report highlighting what is going on at their school.
Good evening, Rowland Unified Board members, Dr. Mitchell, our cabinet members, Rowland educators, and community. I'm Johan Schmitz, the principal of Telesis Academy, and we are delighted to be here this evening and being able to share with you some of the highlights that have been happening across our school and our campus this year. We have our introductions. I know that we already introduced everybody, but I'd like to put a face to the name. So this is Clarissa Tabula. She will be presenting this evening. We have Eva Guzman right over here, and we have Sarah Smith. Evan Barney, I think maybe in traffic or he's running a little bit late, but we will still present on his behalf because all of what is being said was created by the students, and we want to make sure that Evan's piece gets out there. So we'll start off with Clarissa. We'll welcome her.
We are going to highlight some student experiences that make Telesis great. As you all know, we are a No Excuses Academy with a heavy focus on college and career readiness. ASB has an essential role in contributing to a college-focused, yet fun and safe culture. Some of the things that ASB does include promoting a caring environment, lunchtime activities and games, provided hot chocolate for students returning from break. We facilitate birthday and holiday grams. We run recycling programs, and we are organizing the fundraising for our NEU Charity of the Year, which this year is donating money to build an NEU campus in Haiti for orphans and children in need.
On behalf of Evan Barney, I'm going to share about my role as an NEU ambassador. The NEU Ambassadors class is a new class elective offered at Telesis Academy this year, one in which the ambassadors create lessons around college and character. Each month, the class creates 2 lessons about college and 2 lessons that teach character. We present these lessons to the entire Telesis student body from grades transitional kindergarten through 8th grade. The lessons have the same focus for all of the different grade levels. However, the ambassadors tailor them to the needs and what is appropriate for each one of the different grade levels. Most of the college lessons explored, the most recent college lesson explored the pay scales of college graduates versus non-college graduates. One of the more recent character education lessons was a video called Caring Campus. It began with the definition of loneliness and shows some of the ways that students might feel lonely. Then it goes into specifics on what we as students can do to be caring and how to address students who are feeling lonely. There are 2 skits and a text message conversation modeling how to reach out to others and be friendly. The video is about 6.5 minutes long, leaving time for discussion and creating a plan of action.
Just like in college, there are many opportunities for the students to become involved in different academic and non-academic settings. After-school programs for both our elementary and secondary students include Science Olympiad, basketball, volleyball, robotics and volleyball, debate, softball, soccer, office hours, and tutoring. At Telesis, we also offer lunchtime clubs such as art, anime, fellowship, and card club.
As a student who has attended Telesis since 2nd grade, I would also like to highlight some instructional practices that I feel make Telesis special. Our math teachers give us opportunities to learn about math the way that it makes sense to us. We are always asked how we solve problems and to explain our thinking. We are encouraged to persevere in understanding math concepts and not just focus on the steps to solve the problem. Our teachers provide us opportunities to integrate our learning and connect it to our daily lives. The transitional kindergarten through first grade teachers integrate next generation science standards with language arts and focus on the engineering process. Our 2nd through 8th grade teachers have planned out and are implementing a year of STEM integration throughout their curricular disciplines. For example, our 8th grade integrated project will be a 6-week culminating project that is self-selected around the focus topic of dispelling stereotypes. Historical topics will include women's roles in the American Revolution, immigrants searching for asylum, and Generation Z's outlook on themselves, just to name a few. We will then dispel the stereotype associated with the topic via multimedia such as Google Slides, Flipgrid, and podcasts, while incorporating research, writing, listening, and speaking skills.
At Telesis, we are a no excuses university. That means the teachers, the staff, the students, and the parents don't allow excuses to get in the way of student success. We all strive to one day not only attend, but graduate college. I graduate college in 2033.
I graduate college in 2031. And I graduate college in 2028. Thank you for allowing us to spotlight Telesis Academy tonight.
You know, they say that you never should follow an act by children. And this is going to make it very difficult tonight. So we'll have Dr. Mitchell give the superintendent's report and let her follow.
Thanks very much. And so there's obviously a significant amount that's happening in the district as we're preparing for registration and we're working through lots of challenges. But I think nothing compares to what we've been working through the last few weeks in relationship to the coronavirus and or known as COVID-19. So I wanted to share a message related to that so everyone has and hears a common message. We've sent out several communications over the last about week and a half, with many others going out today as well. So the safety and health of our students and staff is our top priority. We understand that all of us have concerns and uncertainties regarding the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. I want to assure you that we are working closely with our local agencies, most readily the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health and the Los Angeles County Office of Education to obtain the most up-to-date information on this rapidly changing situation. I do have access to have communication with them on a regular basis through hotlines and numbers that I've accessed at all hours of the night, including conversations that were happening well after midnight last night. At this time, there are no known cases of COVID-19 in our schools or our district. We have received calls from parents and questions from staff requesting or questioning about closing our schools. While some local colleges and universities have closed schools or canceled classes or gone to an online platform, doing the same at a K-12 school requires guidance and direction from other public agencies and is not a local decision. In this matter, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health will issue exclusion orders as needed if they determine it is necessary to close one or more of our schools. At this time, there are no known cases in our district or schools, and there are no school closures in our district. As we have all experienced today, this is a quickly changing situation. At this time, we are significantly limiting school and district events and have shared with parents the events that have been either canceled or postponed. As a district, we are prepared to take swift action to close a school or schools should we be advised and directed to do so by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. We are also prepared to provide the services needed to support our students and families should a closure occur. At this time, we are implementing all of the recommended actions that have come from the Department of Public Health and the directives from Governor Newsom that were just issued today. A few of the events that have been postponed, and these are just a small sample of them, include the Orange County Debate League that was scheduled for March 14th, the Gate Super Saturday scheduled for March 14th, the Family Conference scheduled at Hurley Elementary on March 14th, the District Band Festival scheduled on March 20th, open houses scheduled on March 19th and March 24th, and the district music rehearsal nights that are scheduled each Thursday. We are looking at this situation in 2-week increments of time. So we have a plan for 4 weeks out, but we were looking at 2-week increments of time. So on the Wednesday prior to spring break, we will announce anything that will change. That'll be the latest date we will make announcements for things for the 2 weeks of school following spring break. Again, this is rapidly changing, and so this information, we are constantly updated, and we are following the recommendations again of the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. But we know that this is a time of uncertainty, and we are here to support our students and our staff as we go through this process. We appreciate your support as we navigate this situation together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. I want to apologize for those that are standing tonight. You notice our seating is a little bit different. We're trying to keep the social distance and we got the chairs spread out, so it reduced the number of chairs that were available for tonight. Next, we'll have the student board representatives. We will move to the Representative Lee Yang, Rowland High School ASB Speaker of the House, and she will provide a report. Ms. Yang.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, and members of the audience. My name is Lei Yang, and I am the Speaker of the House for Rowland High School. As you all know, the school year is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean anything for the life at Rowland. Random Acts of Kindness Week started on February 14th to February 20th. Each day, something kind was given to the students. On Friday, Valentine's Day, each student was given a personal heart card. Tuesday, February 18th, students came to find their locker with a nice post-it note, giving them a compliment or an inspirational saying. Wednesday, a kissing booth was on stage so students could come up and receive a Hershey's kiss. On Friday, February 21st, Rowland held the Renaissance Assembly, which is to recognize academic excellence as well as academic improvement. The theme was Avatar, The Last Airbender. Anyone can be a raider. Over 950 students were in attendance. Those who attended received at least a 2.5 GPA with no Ds or Fs, or improved the GPA from last semester by at least 0.5. Over 185 academic and character awards were awarded to the students ranging from top 10 GPA for each grade level, national merit, counselor choices, character, academic all leagues, first team all league, and AP recognition. It was a very successful 2 days trying to put up all the decorations and getting all of our entertainment pieces together, which included a class dance from each of the graduating classes and a rock band who performed a variety of songs that got the crowd going, grooving. Overall, everyone who attended really enjoyed their time and felt proud of their individual achievements. On February 24th, we had our monthly senior foodie event, Foodie February. Here the seniors were given nachos that they could cover in cheese and jalapenos. This Friday night, we will have our annual Powder Buff game, which we found out will be canceled or postponed. This is a game where junior boys play the senior boys in volleyball, with the junior and senior girl volleyball players are the coaches. And we would like to postpone this game until April. This week is campaigning week for the 2020 to 2021 ASB. Election week is next week. Every day at lunch next week, we will have speeches from our candidates, as well as voting. By next Friday, all election results will be final, and starting next month, I will be bringing the individual who will take over for me next year to show them the ropes. So like I said earlier, although we have been looking forward to several upcoming events, we found out today that the majority of our events have been canceled or postponed. The day before spring break on March 27th was supposed to be one of our biggest events on our campus, Battle of the Classes. This is a friendly competition between each of the 4 graduating classes in the gym at night. We have also postponed this event until April. In the sports world, winter season sport ended as the spring sports began. Several of our boy wrestlers were league championships, advancing to CIF. 2 boys and 1 girl wrestlers advanced to the state CIF championships 2 weeks ago. Fernando Barrietto placed 6th at the state level, and Alex Ramirez and Cheyenne Bowman were state CIF champions. This is Cheyenne's 3rd state California champion. Today at lunch, we had a wrestling championship rally to recognize these 3 wrestlers for their accomplishments. Our girls' soccer team had a memorable season as well. The team advanced to the semifinals in CIF. We lost in penalty kicks, but it was a very exciting game. Our girls' water polo team advanced to the 2nd round of CIF for the first time in several years. Our prom theme revealing is tomorrow in the Hideout, since it will be raining. There will be 2 special performances, and the theme will be revealed. I can't wait to see what the theme is, and I look forward to my senior prom. Our theater department has just started rehearsals for the spring musical, which will be in April. All of the different choir groups are competing at various festivals in the next couple of weeks. Sadly, our drumline and color guard were notified today that the remaining part of the spring competition season has been canceled. At least both drumline and color guard has had a couple of competitions these past couple of weekends. In all, students are doing what we can with all the unrest that is happening in society. Although there is uncertainty, Rowland students continue to be examples of thinkers, communicators, and contributors to be a better rater every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yang. Do we have a representative from Santana? I see the seats empty. No representative from Santana? Okay. Nogales High School. Let me get the page turn here. Brianna Lopez from Nogales High School, Senior Class President, will provide a report.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, members of the board, and members of the audience. My name is Brianna Lopez, and I am the Senior Class President. Sorry. In the past months, we have been having a great time at the best high school of America. Spring sports have taken a great start, and we will be cheering all of our nobles. We are preparing Clash of the Classes dodgeball tournament, which will take place next week. Well, hopefully it will not be postponed. And many more fun events. While our seniors are looking forward to prom and Grand Bash, we are all excited for the end that is coming. And as a student, I care much for all the teachers in my school and those that I have had as a Rowland Unified student. And that's all. Thank you.
And next we go to the public comment section. Dr. Mitchell, are there any comments this evening? Okay, we'll be opening the session for public comments. First, I want to read this. The public is welcome to provide comment to the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes, unless extended or limited by vote of the board. A maximum 20 minutes, unless extended by the board, is allocated for each subject discussed. The Brown Act open meeting regulations under which the board must operate do not allow for board members to comment on non-agenda items or information you may bring up that are not on the agenda. Additionally, no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a comment. Now, this evening we have many comments, and to stay within the 3 minutes and the 20 minutes per topic, what we'll do is we'll take the first group of comments and we'll keep a running clock up there as to how many minutes on that subject matter has been consumed. And at the end of that 20 minutes, the board will then look at how many comments are remaining and whether they want to extend that or not. The first speaker is Roy Humphrey. This would not be part of the 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much, Roy Humphreys. And first of all, on agenda item It's a no vote on this part for Natalie Moreno to be back in the Bond Oversight Committee, and you have the documentation, and you know why. Also, at Monrovia School Board, they separate these into agenda items and non-agenda items. It might be a point of clarity for holding this meeting. And also, thank you for all the good things you do. And as you know, Hacienda La Puente has 20,000 students, and they are going through the California Voting Rights Act process. I went to their third meeting, and you can see this on my YouTube channel. And they, as you can see, they have the dynamics of their constituent input is just earth-shaking, and the clarity with which they spoke. As to Rowland Unified, you have to ask, why is Hacienda La Puente so engaged as a community? The answer is culture. You just can't believe the difference over there. Hard to believe that difference. And also, they had a PhD who went up and could not understand why, over the long term, that the Asian test scores were up and other groups were down over a long period of time. It's culture. And it is hoped that this will be helpful to the board to understand. And it went to the Monrovia Unified School District that night because they were also adopting the California Voting Rights Act, which we're going through here in this district also. And you can see the cultural difference there. It's just totally different. They have a total different ethnic makeup. And they pay a professional to do their video recording of their sessions, and it's duly posted for everyone to share, like all the things that happened tonight with these young people, etc. And also, you recognize that they had 12 constituents that were still in the group, besides the photographer, which is an unusual situation I'm doing. Also, Shay, we believe that Shay Lohman was correct in his respect that you lack respect, and therefore so much for the core values. And yes, it was scary to note the blizzard use of the word transparency at both the Hacienda La Puente and the Monrovia meetings. Also, I think it's a total disservice to everybody here in this community and the constituents of the district to have the last item on tonight's agenda is the March 27th CRB meeting, which is really, really an important event. Also, to note that Monrovia, their rainy day fund is 3%. Thank you.
Next speaker will be Mr. William G. Harrison.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the teachers and clerical staff in terms of a pay raise. I'm told by the superintendent and the board that we have the best teachers and best clerical in the state of California, especially this area. But for some reason, we can't seem to pay them as though they're the best. So I'm hoping that the board will see a way to pay these teachers, pay these staff members, secretaries, who I find to be outstanding people. We have a surplus of $55 million, I understand, so I know that we have the money, we have the resources. We just need to be able to say, okay, it's time to do it. It's been 15 months without a contract. That's just reprehensible. It's insulting to me as an educator and to the board. Why are you holding the purse strings so tight? Why aren't you giving these teachers and clerical what they deserve? If they're the best, we need to treat them as the best. Now we get into a topic in which I didn't want to approach. I didn't want to approach the board with this. Now, Dr. Mitchell and myself have a very choppy past, but and probably future. But in all due respect, Dr. Mitchell is most respectful to me. You know, she does a very good job of being respectful, and I appreciate that. My issue now is the lack of diversity within our schools. I feel a little difficult talking to the board because they've done nothing to address this issue. I found out that we have 10 schools with not one black teacher on staff. We have 7 schools with not one black person in the whole damn school. I find it to be heartening, disappointing, and it hurts me to say that I have 5 sisters and brothers who all joined the military during the Vietnam War myself. I lost 4 of them during the Vietnam War. I got one who's dying of Agent Orange poisoning. They told me that they find it to be degrading that they put country in front of self, and you can't get a blankety-blankety teacher in this blankety-blankety school district. And I said, well, I do all I can. So I have tried to work with the board, with other people, and I keep getting this, we hire the best, we hire the absolutely best. And that segue into F&D, we're hiring the best, we should pay them as they're the best. And then we're not doing that. So I'm hoping that someone on the board can meet with me and give me a resolution in terms of why we do not have African-American teachers, not only in any of our schools, but 7 schools, none. You have something like 1,500 employees and only 37 are black. You have 17 black teachers in the whole school district. I will continue to beat this drum until someone meets with me and come up with a solution. I've given, be back next week. Thank you.
And you know where Dr. Mitchell's office is, so, and you know she has an open door, so I'm sure you'll find it. The next person to speak will be Lucie Zhang. Lucie Zhang in the room?
Members of the board and superintendent, I'm Lucie Zhang. My daughter attends Rowland High School. I speak for myself, my family, and my friends in the community. We have very strong personal concerns about the transmission of the COVID-19 coronavirus. We have no control over what the federal and the state government does or does not to do to slow the spread of the virus. But at the community and the family level, we want to do what we can to control the spread of the awful virus. I'm asking the board the following. First, authorize the parents of any Rowland student to have the option to either sending their kids to school or to select a remote classroom environment. It would be up to the school district to provide either synchronous or asynchronous learning depending on their technology capabilities. The second, the student will be held accountable to the same academic standards. The third, immediately seek emergency authority from the state to suspend any provision of the education code that would preclude such a remote classroom environment. The school district must not lose money when any parent exercises their option. The first, the parent should be able to exercise the option on one day-by-day basis. The fifth, the remote classroom environment would be the student's home or other suitable location under the control of the parent. The sixth, action should be not be delayed because of any bureaucratic habit and resist change. The seventh, the parents know what's the best for the health of their children. Thank you, everyone.
I know that this is something that the district has been working on and is preparing a response for the community in the near future. And Dr. Mitchell, would you like to add anything to that? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica Coe. Either come, we're gonna.
Jessica Coe has been called. Chow. Jessica Chow. Can you record her name? Yes.
因为最近呢，因为最近那个病毒呢非常的严重，我每天早上起来都能看到很糟糕的新闻，而且就在我们附近。今天早上我看到那个窝囊那边有一例，然后已经死亡了，所以我觉得我们的孩子那个免疫力是非常低的。我希望我们的学校能够给我们家长有一个选择的权利，让我们可以让孩子在家里自己学习，或者是我们带他学习，有这个选择。如果父母都上班的话，那可以让可以让孩子上学，但是像我这样的全职妈妈在家里，我们有一个选择的权利，可以让我们的孩子在家里学习，不要再去学校，因为学校太危险了。我们有好多那个父母的职业那个环境都非常复杂，有的是在这种什么赌场啊之类的地方上班的，餐厅啊这种都是很复杂的关系，所以我希望能够保证我女儿在学校的安全。
So I'm a parent of one student, a first grade student in one of the schools in the district.
Are you interpreting what she
Yeah,
said? Okay.
I'm saying that right here. And recently I found out the coronavirus, COVID-19 has been very vicious. And this morning I just watched the news. I found out that there was one case, fatality case right here in Walnut. And right here, I believe the students exposing the environment, right here. And I also believe that the students right here, they're young and their immune system is not fully developed. So we just strongly to suggest the school districts to allow the parents to have the options to allow our students to have the options to learn remotely. Also, because a lot of our parents having a career in a more in the environment that's a little more they may expose to a lot of different people, such as casinos or restaurants. Therefore, I would like to have the school districts to allow the parents to have an option to allow our students to have an environment to learn at home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Due to the number of additional cards we got on this one topic, we'll have to hold it to 20 minutes, but we'll factor in an interpreter factor on that. I just want to ask one other question. Are you David Kogan and Pablo Oliveras? No? Okay, next person is Helen Wang.
尊敬的总监、主席、各位教委们，你们好。
Hello, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, Mr. Malkins, and all the board members.
我是罗兰汉学区罗兰汉school一个学生的家长。我们呢，今天呢有一个诉求，关于最近流行的肺炎病毒，它的隐匿性、传染性、致死率都是特别厉害的，但是它的康复率是相当低的。
I am one of the parents of a high school student in the district. And recently regarding COVID-19, according to the media, we know that it's contagious and the rate to cause the death is also very high. And also it's a hard to cure disease as well.
所以呢，我作为一个家长，请学区教委们考虑允许我们的学生和家长选择在家学习或者在学校学习的权利。
Therefore, we ask the school district to grant the parents that have the right to decide whether the student to do their schoolwork, whether to come to school or learn at home.
因为这个病毒呢，其实传染力相当高，相当高。我们是有很多担心。罗兰还作为一个商业的中心，它起了很大的作用。感谢各位教委、学区为家长大家长们为我们做出的努力。不好意思，我有点激动。
Because this virus is highly contagious, and also Rowland Heights is in the middle of a commercial district. And so as a parent, we are very concerned.
不单单是为我的孩子，我是为所有的孩子们在担心。所以请大家答应我的，就是能够考虑我们的请求，让我们有选择权。我们不是说要关闭，我们只会有选择权。谢谢。
So I'm not just concerned for my own kid, but I'm also concerned for all the kids in the district as well. So we are not demanding for the closure of the school, but we're asking for granting us the right to allow our student whether to go to school or not. Thank you.
谢谢，谢谢。
The next speaker will be Ping Ai.
我是3个孩子的母亲，我3个孩子里边最小的是1年级，最高的是4年级。5年前，我们为了孩子读书来到了美国，因为美国是很保护妇女和儿童的。我们是为了孩子们选择了来到了美国。我知道美国也很保护孩子，但是现在我觉得我的孩子身处在很不安全的环境之下。
Hello, I am a mother of 3 children, and one of our kids, I have a 1st grade, 4th grade, and 5th grader in this school district. 5 years ago, we came to the United States for our children's education. We believe that United States protects their children and also women really well. But right now, I believe that our children is being exposed at a risky environment.
我知道，大家为了孩子们做出了很多努力，也采取了很多措施，但是病毒是我们这些措施阻挡不了的。
I know everybody spent a lot of efforts to help our children. However, we are not able to totally defend this threat from the virus.
你们现在说没有在罗兰港发现一例，但是谁敢保证没有一例呢？ 因为它有14到24天的潜伏期，你们谁敢保证没有？如果一旦发现了之后，它会传播很多人，那么谁来为我们的孩子负责任？谁能负这个责任？我不希望我的孩子去冒这个险。
So far, we know that there is known cases right here in Rowland Heights, but who can promise us that there is no cases at all right here in Rowland Heights? And also, there is 14 to 24 days of the vacant period. And so we just don't know like who is able to be liable to this type of concern.
所以我希望，我们有权利可以选择让孩子在家里边学习，而且在家里学习的时间是不能算缺课的。我希望家长可以有这个权利，因为孩子对于我们来说是我们的全部，是我们的生命。
So therefore, we would like to have the right to decide whether our children should come to school or able to learn remotely at home. And also, we also demand the school that to learn remotely, it doesn't count as the absence, because children are kind of our life as well.
美国有一句名言是：你们不确定哪一辆校车里边坐的孩子是将来的总统，所以你们要确保每一辆校车的安全。那么现在我想问一句你们能不能确定某一个被感染的孩子将来以后会不会是美国的总统？即便他不是在美国出生的，他没有选总统的权利，但是他也是我们的全部，也是我们的上帝，比我们的命还重要。
And we know that there is a saying here in America that we never know that which student in the school bus will become the next president of the United States. And who knows that right here at school who's getting the coronavirus. And maybe this student might be the next president of the United States, or they might be an important person right here. But regardless, we know that all the children are part of our life. Their life might be even more important than our own lives.
也许今天我的情绪很激动，也许在你们看来，我们中国的家长有一些很夸张，但是在面临到孩子安全问题的时候，我们家长是往最坏的地方打算，而不是像其他人，像一些领导往最好的地方打算。
So you might see me as so emotional, and you might see a lot of our Chinese immigrated parents might be so exaggerated. But we as parents, we might think really pessimistically about this case, not like some of the leaders thinking very optimistically.
我就是再次谢谢大家，希望他们可以听取我的心里的话。
Thank you for listening to my concerns. Thank you very much.
Joyce, she.
总监、主席和各位教委，你们好，我叫金宇，我的2个孩子分别就读于罗兰高中和薛令小学。
Hi, Superintendent and also board members. My name is Jane. I have 2 children, and one child goes to Rowland High School, and the other one goes to Sharing Elementary School.
我这次来的目的主要是想请求罗兰学区，让我们有一个自主选择孩子在学校学习和在家学习的这样一个请求。
Today I come here. The purpose to ask for the school district to give us the right to decide whether the children to allow us to decide whether the children to stay at home to learn or come to school.
因为这次的这个冠状病毒，它的对人体的危害性是非常非常大，已经在很短的时间已经蔓延了很多个国家，包括美国。
Because the COVID-19 has been known to make physical harm to to a lot of people, and it's been spread to so many countries in a very small period of time.
我希望在座的每一位都能引起重视，这次病毒的危害是非常非常大，而且它在潜伏期，在没有任何症状的情况下，它是具有非常大的传染性。
And I would like you to concern about this because the vacant period of this virus is quite a long time, and also it's very contagious.
所以，作为在学校的孩子，学校的这个人口密度是非常大的。如果有病毒在学校里如果蔓延开来的话，后果是不可设想的。
And I know that the density of the school students is really high, and therefore, if the disease is being spread out, it would be it's really hard to imagine how to resolve the problem.
所以我们请求，让我们就有一个自主选择的机会，让我们选择孩子可以在家学习，减少这种病毒的传染的几率，降低被感染的几率。
Therefore, we are asking the school districts to give us parents the right to decrease the chance for the students to being exposed by the virus.
谢谢大家。
Thank you.
Thank you. Chan Liang Shen.
Hi everybody, good evening. And I'm a father of a 6-year-old girl. And I know everyone, they like to protect their own precious baby because they are the most beautiful thing in the world. Yeah, and this virus, this COVID-19, is very special because even people they infected by the virus, but some people they don't have symptoms, but it still can spread the virus. So and I need to confirm is there any policy or plan for protect our children in school? A very well planned or policy, anything can protect our babies. So, as I know, our baby attend to the classroom, they don't have to wash their hands because this is what I concerned because every baby they come from different families, yeah, and we don't know what they touched or experienced, and if they go into the classroom and if they can wash their hand before going to the classroom, yeah, it will be more perfect. Yeah, but I cannot see any detailed plan for protect our babies. So that's why I'm afraid my baby will maybe will be infected in the school. So that's so I and the other parents come here to ask if you can give us the right to choose to study at home, it will be a bless. Yeah, if we know you really take very serious attitude to protect our children and our future, yeah, we will be more comfortable. Yeah, this only this is a very humble request
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look at the last name. It looks like Chen is last name. First name is Ting Chen.
各位主席，大家好。我是仙女 Elementary School 的一个学生的家长。
Also, Superintendent and board members, I'm one of the parents of a student from Sharon High School.
我们是来自中国。那中国呢，在2013年经历过 SARS， 我想各位应该也知道。那这一次是这个冠状病毒的事情，所以不管是 SARS 也好，冠状病毒也好，传播的都是非常非常的快。 那因为我们的家属、我们的亲人都在中国，大家都经历过这个，就认为这个事情现在在美国也是非常严重的。
I'm not sure if you remember what happened back in 2003 during the SARS. Regardless, it's SARS in 2003 or right now the COVID-19 this year, they are highly contagious, and a lot of our families from China, and we know what has happened, and we know that right now the virus is really rampant right here in the United States.
那大家有可能看到今天的数据，今天整个美国是增加了300多个新的确诊的病例，那加州是增加了50几个，那可能还有一些并没有被确诊的一个病例，因为这个病毒的潜伏期确实是比较长。
And this, so far as I know that today there are 300 new confirmed cases in the United States, and we know that right here in California there are 50 more added confirmed cases here today. And we know that some of them are unconfirmed cases because incubation period is really long for this disease.
那我们也看到CDC 的讲话，包括总统的讲话，他们提到说，是50还是250个人的聚会，这个不让举行哈。那学校确实是人口最密集的地方，那传播起来也会是最快的地方。
I'm not sure if you watched the speaking from CDC or from President. What I know is that it's discouraged or it's banned to have any assembly with more than 250 people. And school is a place with high population density, and therefore it can be very contagious.
我们也知道，就是学区方面其实也是会有一些对应的一些措施出来。那我比较关注到的有几个点，第一个点就是孩子们的洗手的问题，第二个点是学校的教室的一个通风的问题。因为美国这边相对来说它都是开空调，所以其实这个教室的通风其实并不是很好。那这个对于病毒的传播来说，其实是会更快。
And I know that the school district has the solution for this epidemic right here, but there are two concerns that I have. The first one is whether we really teach the student how to wash their hands, and the other one is regarding the ventilation in the classrooms, because we know that we turn on the air conditioning here in the classrooms, and in an enclosed environment, we know that it's easier for the virus to spread.
那美国确实也是有很多大学已经停课了。那我想，大学的停课考虑也是基于这种病毒传播的这种快速性和可怕性。那对于我个人来讲，并不是说为了我的孩子，或者说为了某一个孩子，因为其实这样的病毒，其实对于全球每个人来说，其实我们全球大家都是命运共同体。不管是 哪一个孩子、哪一个人、哪一个家庭，其实大家的命运都是连在一起的。那尽可能的减少病毒的传播的途径。那这个是我也希望说学区能够考虑这些，是不是考虑远程教育的可能性，或者说让孩子可以请假，自己在家有自由选择的权利。好的，我的发言就这些。
And we know that there's a lot of university has been closed, has been canceling classes, and we also know that there is, we know that at school there is a risk for the students for being exposed by the virus. Right now, I'm not just concerned for a specific student, but or my own children. But it's regarding, because everybody is being affected by this virus. So what I'm asking for is to decrease the possibility for anybody to be exposed by this virus. And so we would also like to ask if there is a possibility for districts allow the remote education or independent study.
Thank you.
Helen Wang. Okay, we'll pass on Helen Wang. Cheng Shun Su, T-S-U-I.
So as a parent, I'm just thank you for your effort for our students. And I'm the parents of a student from Shelling Elementary School. And right here, I would just like to have the school district to really focus on what's going on with this with the COVID-19. We know that it's been seen as an epidemic since January. It started from mainland China, and right now, in March, as of right now, it become a pandemic type of situation, according to WHO. And as an Asian parent, I've been watching news, and we have been noticing of what's going on with this type of risk. We know that this type of virus easily spread in a place with a large population or with or at a place with bad ventilation.
我希望学区能够重视2件事情，一个是提供学生一个在家自学的一个选择，并不是要求学生要去暂时去把学校怎么关，是我们作为家长，我们了解说，有很大的学生的族群是rely on学校提供的营养的午餐，还有学校有些双薪的家庭必须要仰赖就是学校的这个提供的这个教育的模式来support 他们的 family。所以我们并不是要求学校现在全面停课，但是我们要求学区能够让学生有一个选择权，可以自己在家自修，那么老师能够提供一个必要的帮助，就是可以让这些自学的学生在这一段时间非常时期能够在家做自学的一个选择。
So right now I have two things to request from the school district. We are not asking for the school to close because we know that the school district has a lot of students here in the school district are relying on the lunch provision right here from the school district, and we also know that there are certain students' parents, both of their parents are working parents. But we would like to ask the school district to allow to give our students the option to have independent study at home.
那么这个自学的选择其实有一个很大的benefit，就是说让这个可以在家自学的孩子，那在家里的环境中免于被传染的一个环境。那么对必须要留在学校学习的孩子来讲，也减少他传染的一个机会。在学校的人数越少。
Thank you very much. Yeah, he gets to interpret that last section.
Therefore, we know that there is some benefit with independent study because for the students who stay at home to learn, we know that they have the less of the chance to being exposed by the virus, and also for those students who need the school, they are also have the right to come to school.
Okay, we're coming up on our 20-minute limit, so can you please explain to the next person coming up that rather than the normal 3 minutes, we'll have 2 minutes and 14 seconds?
Unless we vote on it, correct?
Right,
So
unless we
is this the
vote on it.
last person on this subject? This is the last person, so can we allow 3 minutes if they need it?
Does she need 3 minutes, you know? This is Johan Quinn.
Do you want me to wait?
Oh, you don't have a speaker? Okay, so it's not an issue. Okay, thank you very much for your interpreting and helping out too. Okay, we have a new subject for this group. And again, we'll run 2 timers, one 3-minute timer for each speaker, and then a 20-minute timer for the total time for the subject. And then at the end of 20 minutes, if there's still some more speakers, we'll take a vote to see whether or not to extend it. The first speaker will be Shay Lohman.
Good evening. First off, thank you to everybody who came out and expressing, their opinions and their concerns and doing that in this public forum. So thank you for that. I definitely want to thank all of our union members, parents, students, and community allies for your constant engagement in this struggle for a fair contract for educators and our community. We have met every organizing goal we have set for ourselves as a union, and the connections that we are developing and have made with parents in the community are vital now and going forward in the future with important initiatives such as the Schools and Communities First initiative. The ARE Board of Directors and our bargaining team are absolutely committed to accomplishing our bargaining priorities and addressing the central concerns that we have brought forward in this very long process. At the same time, as educators, we know that this campaign has only added an additional layer to our core mission of providing an education to the students of Rowland Unified. With that in mind, our team worked tirelessly since our mediation session last Thursday to provide a new confidential proposal through the mediator. And we hope that that can bring resolution to this long struggle in a very timely manner. So thank you all for your work. Thank you.
The next speaker is Ethan Cho.
Hello, my name is Ethan. I'm a junior at Rowland High School. I've come here to express my concerns and issues with the district. I'd like to start off with my first issue. For the past year, my teachers have been fighting for a fair contract. I don't understand why you have refused them to give them a reasonable raise, portable insurance, and class size caps. Teachers are the ones that inspire and bring us hope. Without my teachers, I wouldn't have found my passion in government. They deserve more. Secondly, you don't know our issues as students. As Abraham Lincoln once said, that our government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. But this board has been for themselves and the superintendent. If you're really for the people, you would have come to our campus and talked to us. You would have come and see how we don't have shade for blistering sun in the summer, or cover from the pouring rain from the past few days. We lack tables to sit at because you refuse to spend that $55 million in bins. Our art classrooms lack brushes and simple supplies. This is not for extra credit. This is not for a grade. I'm doing this because I care for my community and my teachers. As my history teacher once said, I need to provide solutions but present issues. So here they are. I encourage the board and superintendent to visit our campuses regularly. Come talk to us. We're open. During lunch, just hello, come say hello, ask what's wrong, or just introduce yourselves. I barely know any of you guys. Mr. Chen, I know you. But everyone else, it's really hard. Like, I don't know my own representatives. And also, we need to increase transparency with students and the district. We need to have an open communication with the district. Somehow, this is a public forum, I know that, but we need you guys to provide information for us students directly. So like I said, maybe visiting campuses regularly. And also, you should create a plan to spend that $55 million throughout the years. Provide our teachers the supplies they need. And lastly, give our damn teachers their contract. Thank you.
That's my class president.
Dr. Gilbert Navarro.
Sorry.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Mitchell, cabinet members. I know other colleagues have spoken on the topic of personal necessity days, but today I share my story. I stand before you as a proud teacher of 24 years with the district and a proud combat veteran of the Iraqi war with the United States Marine Corps. On our way home from our tour of duty, didn't know the dangers of PTSD at the time, but I am really blessed I was blessed with how my district supported me throughout the entire time, how they celebrated me, how they honored me, but that wasn't true of all of my unit members. So I'm going to try to keep it together. A few months ago, I got a call from one of my unit members who was not doing really well, dealing with PTSD. So some of our unit members got together and rallied and reminded him he has value, that he has a support system, that he's loved. And on the way home, I was on the roller coaster rides of emotions. Sad for a friend, I was crying. Angry that we didn't receive the health care, the mental health care we should have received. They literally, for reservists, they literally just sent us off with no mental health care. And that's why I shared with you that I was very blessed to have had the support that I had here at the district. But at the same time, I started thinking about our personal necessity days. And I know that one of these days, one of my fellow brothers and sisters is going to pass away, either from illnesses, an accident, or taking his or her own life. Because suicide is real with PTSD. And so I was getting angry because I thought, what if the day comes and I want to attend the funeral? And with the restricted language that is being proposed by the district, I would not be able to. So I leave you with this. My fellow combat members and myself have fought for our freedoms. I ask you tonight to fight for one of my freedoms. The freedom to put on my combat uniform or any other uniform I choose to wear to their funeral without the fear of being penalized for taking a darn PN day that I earned. Thank you for your time.
Brody Galan.
Hi. Our teachers are the builders of our future. And how are they to build a better future if they don't have the materials needed to do that? They're the ones that are there for us when we don't have people, we don't have adult figures in our lives. My school experience is an example of that. My father wasn't always around. Mr. Martin and Mr. Medina provided me that father figure. They were there for me. Mr. Martin taught me strength and the knowledge I needed. Mr. Medina taught me patience and respect. These teachers are to guide us through our futures and to guide us to be what we want to be in our lives. And they can't do that if they don't have the materials to do that, you know. Such boxes of tissues for when we're sad, colored pencils for when we're feeling creative. They don't just need more materials though. Their classes are being too cramped. When the classes are too cramped, teachers don't get as much one-on-one time with each student. They don't get to inspire each student as much as they should be able to. It also, having less cramped classes would prevent such rapidly growing sick seasons, as we all know. The teachers need the help of the board in order to prepare our country for a better future.
Present.
Oh my God.
In a democratic country, education is the utmost importance in the curation of a better tomorrow. However, RUSD has not been prioritizing our education, and therefore I stand in front of you today to represent my fellow classmates and teachers who are all seeking change. We have two requests that need to be immediately considered, addressed, and put in place. Number one, the establishment of accessible and efficient communication between the district and the students/teachers. After conducting extensive interviews, many of the students I have interviewed stated that they resented the campus security, or CPOs, and many of the other leading administrators, as they have created a hostile and even disrespectful environment within the school. Similarly, the teachers have been in contract negotiations for over 250 days without any clear resolution or compromise. Additional concerns have come up over the lack of health care, compensation for extra duties, funding, and classroom cap size. Instances of simple concerns being brought up have taken up to 6 weeks to resolve. This is simply unacceptable. Both groups have had no place to voice their concerns and are misinformed. The students often feel powerless and rejected. The teachers are becoming increasingly distrustful and feel unheard as well as disrespected. This causes confusion, frustration, and misunderstandings that causes new problems and leaves old ones unsolved. We request the creation of a space in which we can have appropriate discussion and where we can express our own concerns productively. Number 2, the equal and fair distribution of funds to what makes our schools great. Rowland Unified School District has $55 million of taxpayer money in the bank that it refuses to spend in our children's education. As it seems there is a lack of places to spend this money, let me guide you to where it can be appropriately used. Hiring new teachers in our schools that create smaller classes that encourage individual learning, as well as the introduction of a 36-student cap size on classrooms. Number 2, greater healthcare and personal necessity benefits for teachers that fairly compensate them for the extra work they put into students. Number 3, new school supplies such as textbooks, art supplies, tools, and equipment needed to make our classrooms more effective, hands-on, and modern. Number 4, to our hard-working artistic programs such as the choir, theater, marching band, and color guard, and their productions. Number 5, finally, to better facilities where students can spend their time. To recap, the students and teachers are asking for more effective communication for both the students and teachers and the effective use of funds towards our education. I'd like to remind everyone here today that this education system was not created for anybody else but me, the student, who is the center of the meeting today. The needs of the students and teachers must be prioritized, as we are the cornerstones of the education system as we know it. Remember that the system was built around us and built to serve us. Please join me in upholding these universal truths. To all my supportive teachers, thank you.
Thank you.
Loran Spolito.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Loran Spolito, and I'd first just like to start this off by giving a highlight of my story. I came to Rowland Unified when I was in 2nd grade, starting at Oswald Elementary, then Rincon, now Telesis, and then Rowland High. I then went on to attend UC Irvine, where I studied engineering and business, and after college, I signed with the $46.2 billion professional service firm as a consultant in the financial services industry, where I currently serve banking and capital market clients all over the United States. In addition, I lead my firm's diversity and inclusion initiatives for the Orange County region, and I just recently launched a program at UCI aimed at providing guidance and mentorship to first-generation college students and underrepresented minorities. It's been quite a journey of persistence and growth and a little bit of soul-searching that I was able to come to know for what my purpose is in life, and at least to this moment that is. But I would be lying if I said that my teachers at Rowland Unified did not have a significant role in this. My teachers like Mrs. Curtis, Mrs. Sabayan, and Miss Urbian were more than just educators. They were mentors and allies. And so it hurts when I reconnect with my teachers and I find out that they're not being treated fairly by their leaders. I know that you as district leaders have agendas that you are prioritizing along with difficult decisions that you need to make, and I thank you sincerely for your leadership. But as part of my continuing efforts to grow and challenge myself, there's a specific leadership style that I try to embody to make me an effective and communicative leader to my clients and to my teams. And that is the idea of servant leadership. This term was introduced by Robert Greenleaf, and it's the idea that the servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who was leader first, perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power drive or to acquire material possessions. And when I read this quote, the first thing that comes to mind is, are our leaders at Rowland Unified making decisions for the sole betterment of the district, or for themselves first and the district second? What are the optics when teachers have been fighting for a fair contract and a benefit package, and Dr. Mitchell's salary has been increased by $84,000 since 2015? But don't get me wrong, Dr. Mitchell, I love money too, and I love seeing commas in my paychecks. But I also like to live a life with purpose and intention, being a servant leader to those around me. So I ask you and the board today, why did you choose public education? Because I can tell you why our teachers did. It's for our students to give them the next generation of access to education that will one day turn into opportunity. So you know what 15 months of negotiations and 251 days without a contract tells me? That you don't value our teachers and inevitably our students. And if I'm wrong in saying that, then please take care of our teachers, listen to them during mediations, and show them that you appreciate and acknowledge their value, because without them, where would our students be and where would I be? Thank you to my teachers.
Hi everybody, I'm back. I spoke a little earlier about being here with Rowland for 17 years and this really feeling like home, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. But back to the topic of feeling insulted and disrespected, I just want to share how I personally have felt insulted and disrespected. During our district kickoff, when TK through transition is praised, preschool teachers feel left out. That leaves a whole team of teachers left out. We also serve our littlest learners here at Rowland Unified with special needs beginning on their 3rd birthday, the day after they turn 2. We also have credentials, but hardly anybody knows about preschool teachers, and we certainly aren't mentioned in any of our district kickoffs. Talk about starting off the year feeling really left out and unappreciated. Support staff who's worked in both high school classes and preschool classes have said that preschool can be a lot more difficult than high school, because these are babies who have never been in school, don't know how to line up, don't know how to sit at the carpet, dealing with lots of emotions, big emotions, and may not be able to verbalize any of their wants or needs. Yet we teachers are still working on academic goals while preparing them for TK and kindergarten programs. These babies that we're preparing for programs that Rowland Unified is so proud to advertise. Even more insulting, traveling 32 miles to a Saturday event that I'm not even a part of, and making it a point to say hi, introducing myself, voicing my concerns about how preschool special ed feels left out on our own campus and in our own district, only to be told that we don't want to advertise our preschool programs. That wasn't the point, not even to our own colleagues. That really minimizes our entire team of education specialists. I know my numbers are high, I shared earlier. I have almost 24 students and there are almost 80 preschools among 5 teachers. Do I want to capsize? Sure. Would I like extra support staff? Definitely. But do I want to keep us all a secret, our REACH program, from our own colleagues, just so we don't advertise our program? Absolutely not. Every single teacher, whatever their field is in our district, should be highlighted and praised and feel proud of what they're doing. I challenge you guys to spend 1 hour in our classroom as a teacher and see if we still don't deserve a fair contract. Do we make an impact? Yes. Do we still show up and serve our students and still love what we do? Of course, it's not for the money or the fame, but that definitely doesn't mean we don't deserve a fair contract. And if you're wondering what this baseball shirt is about, it's a play off of the Rockford Peaches. Our entire REACH team dressed up as the baseball players from League of Their Own, because we most definitely are in a league of our own. On behalf of all the early childhood special educators here at Rowland, we think you guys are all in a league of your own as well, worthy, deserving, and ready to be appreciated as the rock stars on the forefront that we are.
Give the board more information about outreach, about preschool programs.
Okay, we have 3 minutes, 3 seconds left in the first 20 minutes. We have 7, possibly 8 more cards to go through on the same subject matter. So maybe we should take a vote now whether we want to extend it for another 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever.
I'd like to extend it to 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I prefer to cut it down to 2 minutes each, but let them all speak. For as much time as this.
Okay, we have a motion to extend it for 20 minutes. We have a second suggestion to let everybody speak for 2 minutes. I don't know if all 7 of these or 8 of these are going to all speak for 3 minutes. We could go with the extended 20 minutes And then if some people don't speak for 3 minutes, that would then enable the 8th or 7th person to speak. Would that be a fair understanding? Okay, have a vote for extending it for 20 minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so we'll extend for another 20 minutes after the 303 has expired.
Thank you.
Okay, next person will be Veronica Lopez.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to make this very brief because it's pretty late and we just want to get this done. But, I'm Veronica Lopez. I graduated from Rowland High School just 2 years ago, class of 2018. And in my time at Rowland, I had the chance to meet several different teachers, all of which they played a really big role in shaping the person I am today. They played a really big role in giving me an idea of what I would want to do after high school. Recently learning that the teachers who all played a really big role in shaping me and like so many other students who have already graduated high school or are still in high school or have just really started their education are not being taken care of properly is so saddening that I came back from school all the way in Riverside just to make sure my teachers get a fair contract. Teachers are the backbone to our society, and it is only expected that the people who are in charge of shaping our community's future are properly taken care of. It is only expected that they have access to proper health care, and it is only expected that they are given a fair contract. Thank you.
Eva De La Puente. Just one second, except we set the clock here. Okay, go on.
Hello, my name is Eva De La Puente and I'm a senior at Rowland High School. Looking back on the past 4 years of change and growth that I have been through in high school, I am able to reflect upon the guiding force of my endeavors, who are my loving, sincere, and supportive teachers. Teaching is their passion, yet they are still being deprived of fair and necessary resources. Teachers have the ability to turn a class from a boring and miserable class to an environment where students are passionate and excited to enter every day. I've experienced it firsthand, and it starts with the teacher's motivation and attitude. They hold the power to make this difference. They deserve a fair contract. They've asked you for smaller classes, and you've taken a look at the budget with a $55 million reserve and decided no can do. Rather than realizing that a teacher's working conditions are students' learning environments, you've chosen to pit yourself against them as if they are lazy and unreasonable. When you refuse to spend the money from the budgets appropriately, you are not only saying no to them, but you are saying no to us. You are saying that imaginary rainy days are more important than the actual students in the classrooms now. Teachers are the backbone of the educational system. They are the driving force who educate and lead our future doctors, lawyers, politicians, and working members of society. They are the selfless individuals, the influencers, the role models, who teach, guide, and protect our students day in and day out. They are the substance of our schools, and they deserve a fair contract. And let's be honest, when it's time to shake hands and take a photo, you are there with big smiles and a pat on the back. But it is our teachers, not you, who are there with us every day with a pat on the back, or a shoulder to cry on, or a push in the right direction. They deserve a fair contract. And in my reflection of these past 4 years, I look back and realize the significance of our teachers and how they're underrepresented and most importantly mistreated in our system. I can't think of any way I or anyone else who has achieved remotely anything in high school would have done any of it with out the support of our teachers. After all is said and done, they deserve a fair contract and definitely then some. Thank you.
Valeri Chow. Valeri Chow.
Good afternoon, board and Dr. Mitchell. I'm Valeri Chow, and I'm currently a junior at Rowland High School. I've been in this district for over 12 years, and I've never seen anything as ridiculous as this. As much as the public has now witnessed, Dr. Mitchell's salary has been exposed. Almost all 2,000 kids at Rowland High School have now been enlightened with the fact that Dr. Mitchell makes more than the governor of California. Where is all of our taxpayers' money going to? I would just like to remind you all, in case you forgot, that the school board is elected by the people of the community, and they're supposed to be working for the people. The board is elected by the people in order to fulfill their wishes and hear their concerns when presented, but that is obviously not what is happening today. The school board is supposed to be working for the people by providing the community with what they want, but instead, our taxpayers' money is sitting in the reserve untouched. But really, how much of taxpayers' money is being wasted, none of it being used at all? With $55 million in reserve, programs at schools are not being funded, textbook covers are falling off, and tissues cannot even be provided for students during the flu season. Does it really take the coronavirus for the district to finally provide some hand sanitizer for the students? With a matter of fact, $55 million are just sitting there for what? As a student who participates in many school activities, fair share fees add up extremely fast. With an average household income, I'm able to pay this off. But what about the burden placed on those who are not as fortunate? A season of marching band is approximately $1.1 thousand in fair share fees. Why? Because $55 million are sitting there collecting dust, and the district would rather absolutely do nothing with $55 million than help fund programs that promote student awareness and community involvement. The district would rather do absolutely nothing with $55 million than pay the educators who provide for us. Did you know that Rowland Unified is not even one of the top districts in Southern California? With all this money in the reserve, it's still not being used for the betterment of the students and the community. Present for me a second thought of where all of our taxpayers' money is going to. Nope, not to the teachers who bend over backwards for the students every day, but to senior ranking officials whom I have not seen once on Rowland campus in the 3 years I've been in this school. The reserve needs to be spent on programs, students, and teachers in which will provide conclusively for a better community. So reevaluate precisely about what's happening in this community right now. There's only one difference between the school board and our teachers. Our teachers provide for us. Thank you very much.
I think it's Racheal Flores. How do you pronounce her first name?
Good evening. My name is Racheal Flores. I'm a senior at Rowland High School, and I've been in the Rowland district since kindergarten. I'm here today because, just like my educators, I believe in the power and importance of education. Throughout these years, life happened. I had the good, the bad, and the ugly thrown at me, just like many of my peers. But unlike some of my peers, I didn't come to school with a bag full of supplies. I came with baggage from home. I felt like I was at a huge disadvantage with the language barrier, unstable home life, and lack of resources. But little did I know that I was at the right place at the right time, because I had an incredible support system who provided me with all the tools I would need to succeed, both inside and outside the classroom. In the summer going to 3rd grade, when I was 9 years old, my dad was deported unexpectedly. I didn't tell anyone, but this was definitely the worst moment of my life. My mom became the sole provider for my 2 younger siblings and I. This school year, we couldn't afford to buy anything. I'll never forget Miss Ronan, my 2nd grade teacher, who decided to buy us school supplies from her own money, and later that year, Christmas gifts because she knew we were in need. This is one of the many examples that I can share today. The same level of care I received that school year has remained consistent, and for that reason, I am here reciprocating the support that my teachers have given me. The educators I've been blessed with have always given me their best, even when I have not given them mine. Today, I ask that you give them your best because they deserve it and have earned it. I attended the LCAT meeting this week, and as a district, our #1 priority is academic achievement for all students. But how do you expect students to reach their full potential when we don't have the tools to do so? Our facilities are poorly kept. Our textbooks should be consistent in core and non-core classes. Our supplies should be restocked, and not out of my teacher's pocket, I may add. We need smaller class sizes across the board from K to 12. All the students who wore red today, who showed up today to support these teachers and staff members, it's a double-edged sword. It's great to see everyone so involved, and I'm so proud of my peers. But it is also embarrassing that it has come to this. When our teachers are unhappy, so are we. It is unjust that we are being handed the plastic spoon when the silver spoon is available. Our teachers deserve better. We deserve better. We know our worth, and now it is time for you to decide if you truly value us. Please do better.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Angela Baltazar, and I'm here to address the board on behalf of the teachers in the Rowland Unified School District. As a parent of 3 children that attend Rowland schools, I would just like to say how disappointed I am about the district's blatant disregard for its educators. These teachers come to work every day, 5 days a week, for 6 to 9 hours a day. They are overworked and underpaid and extremely underappreciated. These educators work hard every day to prepare our children for what they will face when they graduate. Yet they have been working without a contract now for more than 250 days. You don't need me to tell you how valuable teachers are. You should already know. It saddens me to know that after putting in a hard day's work in the classroom, then they must come here to fight for what is rightfully theirs. Instead of being at home with their families, give these teachers fair pay and a contract so they can continue making a difference in their students' lives. I would just like to remind you that the Rowland Unified School District promotes, expects, and accepts nothing short of excellence. We have a collective commitment to be the best school district in California. You should remember those words because they are the board's vision. Thank you.
Valentine?
Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent, and Cabinet. My name is Ela Kanadin of 5th grade Romer Royal. I am here to read my sister Lizette's address to you. Unfortunately, she is unable to join us as she is attending class at Cal Poly tonight. Here is her letter. As a former Romer, Rincon, Telesis, and Nogales pupil, I was blessed to be deeply impacted by many teachers who would go above and beyond for their students. Teachers such as Mrs. London, Mrs. Fermano, Mrs. Ramos, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Flores, Mr. Cox, and Mr. Ramos, to name a few. One of the most notable teachers that impacted my life was Mr. Pollock, former director of the Nogales Noble Regiment. Throughout my years of high school, I was fortunate enough to be a member of the Nogales Noble Regiment. Mr. Pollock dedicated countless hours to the music program, from after-school practices to band competitions. As a music director, Mr. Pollock not only taught his students how to play music, but he also taught us discipline and character. Through his guidance, I learned time management skills which were necessary to balance AP and IB schoolwork with music practices and competitions. Those qualities enabled my fellow regiment members to win state championships for 2 consecutive years. Through his leadership, we were also able to travel to Hawaii in 2013 and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 2016. The most recent of their accomplishments includes performing the London New Year's Day Parade in January of 2020, an opportunity of which one of my sisters was privileged to be a part of. Sadly, RUSD did not provide the support we had wished throughout my tenure as a Nogales student. Despite all our achievements, RUSD failed to support the arts program and support Mr. Pollock. Diligent fundraising had to be done by students and parents. Not a simple acknowledgement on the district website was provided for the regiment. I can recall various concerts held at our school site in which board members were not present to support our program. It was this continuous lack of support for years which resulted in Mr. Pollock leaving the district to take his talents to one that could appreciate him. In February, I attended Mr. Pollock's farewell gathering. More than 100 Nogales alumni and parents attended. It was truly an honor to be amongst many of Mr. Pollock's students. He is a tremendous loss to the Nogales community. However, we fully understand that Mr. Pollock's passion was not enough. Teachers and staff from the Rowland Unified School District cannot work on passion alone. It is these teachers who play the most significant role in students' lives, shaping not only their academic career, but personal development as well. These teachers, not the board members or superintendent, are the ones who help us become future contributors to society. Failing to meet Rowland's educators' reasonable demands will only result in the loss of more valuable teachers, and inevitably the discreditation of RUSD as an outstanding and distinguished district. If the RUSD Board of Education preaches community and unity, then they must truly serve its families by putting the needs of their students and teachers above themselves. I beseech you to settle the contract. Thank you, Lizette Valentine.
Let's go!
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danica Haltin, and I am a parent of Rowland Unified School District. I've been a parent of Rowland Unified, believe it or not, for 10 years. I have 10 children, 9 of which who have rotated through the district. Once I found out about the 15-month contract that has not been resolved regarding the teachers, I became very upset because after being in the district for 10 years by force, because I did request the first year to leave and was denied, I'm now here by choice. My husband and I just bought a home in San Dimas where we are in the Bonita Unified School District, and I filled out a request to stay in Rowland due to the support from all of these teachers from Rowland. I know that there's $55 million sitting in reserve. I'm a parent of 10. I'm sending my oldest to college with no scholarship. I just got off of a 12-hour shift. I'm exhausted. But I'm here today to support these teachers who have supported my kids. They are my front line for my legacy. I leave my kids with them 5 days a week. They're at school more than they're at home. And the teachers at Hollingworth can tell you, my van sits outside from 12:30 till 3:30 for them to continue to do what they need to do with my kids so I can get them back to San Dimas to home so I can do what I need to do. This contract needs to be resolved because I'm here by choice, because I love Rowland. I can take my kids to Bonita, but if these teachers go on strike, I understand being here on permit, my permit could be revoked if they're absent, but if they go on strike, we will not cross. I'm a nurse. I'm not crossing the picket line, and I want each and every one of my children to be marked absent. I don't want you to put in a special code for you to get the funding for them as if they were there. We're standing with the teachers. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchell, school board, teachers, students in the community. And I also want to really thank the teachers and the teachers, parents, and the students who have come out tonight to speak on our behalf. Tonight I speak to you as the Vice President of the Association of Rowland Educators. Our community is engaged and ready to support our teachers as we continue mediation for a fair contract. Most of the speakers are here to address the board about the here and now, but I would like to discuss the near future. With these extraordinary times in our communities and all the tough decisions we are making to ensure the safety of our students and our staff, with events changing rapidly, I do want to thank Dr. Mitchell and the cabinet and the board for their constant communication as we navigate these challenging times. But I do see some hope, and tonight on the board agenda for discussion, I do see the schools and communities first initiative. I strongly encourage you to take a vote in April to support SCFF as it will make the November 2020 ballot. Most Californians support SCFF even after all the misinformation that is out there, and if you still haven't signed the petition, I encourage anyone on the board and any voters in this room to sign the ones we have so that we will make that final push to get schools and communities first on the November ballot. In one of the latest reports from USC, 78% of the generated revenue from the property taxes would only come from 6% of commercial and industrial property in the state. Currently, corporations like Disney and Chevron pay 1978 property tax value. As the current economy is questionable, we know the property values of these companies have appreciated, and therefore it is imperative that we work together to pass Schools and Communities First so that we get their property tax values to current time. First in November, especially if we face harsh economic times in the future, we do need to get this passed. Again, passing the resolution at the next board meeting, we will be able to work together to ensure that Rowland gets its fair share of $9.6 million of ongoing funding from the money when we pass Schools and Communities First. And again, if you are a voter in this room, you still haven't signed the petition, please see me or Shay to get SCSF on the ballot for November. Thank you.
Bertha Tello. We have an interpreter?
Yes.
Translator.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Soy la señora Berta y vengo como padre representante de padres.
And my name is Berta, and I come here as a parent and a parent representative.
Viví en Los Ángeles 15 años.
I lived in Los Angeles 15 years.
Ahora vivo aquí.
Now I live here.
Y pensé que no iba a haber nada de lo que pasé en Los Ángeles.
And I thought I wasn't going to live anything that I lived in Los Angeles.
Mis hijos perdieron clases, tiempo.
My kids lost classes and time.
Y me vine por un mejor futuro y pensé que aquí era mejor.
And I came for a better future, and I thought this would be better.
Y resulta que ahora estoy peleando la educación de mis hijos.
And it turns out that I am fighting for my children's education.
Y apoyando a sus maestros.
And supporting their teachers.
Que son como sus segundos padres.
And they're like their second parents.
Y sé que estamos pasando tiempos difíciles.
And I know that we're going through difficult times.
Una vez más, les suplico que le pongan la mano en el corazón.
One more time, I ask you to put your hand in your heart.
Para que no se pierda tiempo.
So they won't lose time.
Para la educación.
For the education.
Por si llegaran a ir, por si se llegaran a ir a huelga.
Just in case they go on strike.
Yo no voy a mandar a mi hijo a la escuela para poder apoyar a sus maestros.
If they go on strike, I will not send my children to school to support the teachers.
Ya lo hice, lo voy a volver a hacer.
I've done it once, I'm going to do it again.
También las que están en la oficina están haciendo el trabajo de las enfermeras.
And also the office staff is doing the work for the nurses.
Ahora tenemos un problema más grande, necesitamos también ese apoyo.
And we have a bigger problem, and we also need that support.
Ustedes fueron alumnos.
You were once students.
Y alcanzaron sus metas.
And you reached your goals.
Y también un buen recuerdo.
And you had great memory.
De algún maestro.
Of a teacher.
Para tomar.
To take.
Sus mejores decisiones.
To take the best decisions.
También recuerden que los maestros dieron la vida por sus alumnos.
And also remember that their teachers gave their life for their students.
En los tiroteos.
In the shootings.
Ahorita que tenemos una enfermedad que nos está preocupando, ellos se paran todos los días y están presentes con nuestros hijos.
And now that there is a disease that's going on, they get up every morning and they go out and protect our children.
Estamos aquí peleando por la educación.
We are here fighting for the education.
Pero tenemos en cuenta que también tenemos un problema muy grande.
But we have in mind that we also have a big problem.
Gracias por escucharme una vez más y ojalá y nos apoyen.
Thank you for listening to me once again, and I hope you get your support.
Se ve, se siente, los padres están presentes.
You see it?
We'll be starting a new topic now. Jason Albos.
Go, Mr. Alba!
Sorry, I'm not good. First of all, thank you for the ones that I saw yesterday with our jazz band performing. It was a really fun performance.
If you don't know who I am, I'm Jason Allen, the Director of Bands at Rowland High School. I've been with Rowland Unified for 12 years. And in those 12 years, I've seen Rowland High School Band reach heights that I never thought I could see them achieve. If you didn't know, this past fall, Rowland High School placed second overall in Grand Championships at the California State Championships. This was the best the program has ever done in their history. And in my 12 years, we've won many sweepstakes awards, overall tournament champions, not only in band, but in color guard, jazz band, and drumline. A few years back, the drumline going to the national competition and taking the silver medal, something that's never been done in Rowland. I say these things not to brag about myself or about the program, but I say these things because it was a miracle considering the limited financial support we've received in my 12 years here at Rowland High School. If you look at the sheet that I've handed to you, you can see the cost of what it cost to run the program at Rowland High School. Because of the lack of support, we are struggling to compete at the same level with all the other bands in the area. For instance, our own marching percussion instruments are over 10 years old. They have a shelf life of about 5 years. We're playing on some instruments that were built in the 80s because we can't afford to purchase new instruments. In fact, we haven't purchased new instruments in the last 10 years because we just don't have the funds for it. Currently, we have no budget to fix instruments, no budget to buy instruments, and we're in desperate need of your help. Our beautiful semi that sits in front of the school sat for almost 2 years while we had to try and save $12,000 to repair it, to make it drivable. The semi serves two purposes. Not only does it carry our equipment, but it is a driving billboard advertisement for our school and for the district. In the fall of 2018, our marching bands were canceled due to the fires in Bakersfield. It cost my program over $30,000. As of today, my entire music program has been shut down due to the coronavirus, and we're set to lose another $20,000 because of all the expenses that we have to pay. We're at the point where having a marching band, a color guard, or a drumline is just not going to be feasible for us because we just can't afford it. Mr. Brenner taught me one of the things, if I'm going to ask for something, I better have the data. So here's the data. Chino Valley receives $30,000 a year for each of their school for repairs and instruments. All buses are paid for. Upland Unified District pays for all music, staff, and all instructors for the whole year. That's about $50,000. The Alberta Unified pays for each band member in the program $430 for the program. Baldwin Park Unified pays for instruments, repairs, entry fees for competition, use of the district trailer, which we don't have access to, and buses. Covina Valley receives $15,000 a year in instruments and repairs. Chaffey Joint Union, $10,500 repairs and instruments, and every 3 years, each high school gets $35,000. Placentia or Belinda, new uniforms every 10 years, $10,000 a year for instruments, $5,000 for instrument repair. Rowland High School Music receives zero earmarked from the district. I hope you take into consideration giving to your Rowland Raider Regiment financial support for the program to
Yes, yes.
Paper. We have paper down.
Oh, there was only one.
Oh, there's only one?
Uh,
Thank you.
Next person is Roy Hamada.
Hi, thank you. My name is Roy Hamada. I've been asked to talk to you today. And I'm actually here to talk about Rowland High School program and how we need the help of our board members and our district. I'm a business consultant by trade. I work for Citibank and also Fiserv. They're actually in our community, so we love trying to get out to the community and try to help our students in our community. As far as I think we have like two banks in this community. And in my professional opinion, we cannot survive the way this program is run because it seems like every time we try to get some type of fundraising, being way out the box as far as raising funds, it really takes away from our funds as far as like paying for our instructors and stuff like that. Things that we wouldn't think as a booster to actually be able to pay for these things, which it seems like we're actually paying for all of it. And it kind of goes in a circle, where, you know, the Rowland district pays for it, and then the district gets paid by Rowland, and then we in turn cover the district. So it's like a triangle that works there. So paying these instructors, I don't think is fair to the boosters, because I'm on the board also. So when we look at all the data and everything like that, it just doesn't seem fair to us, because it takes a small army to run this type of program. It takes I mean, we have tons of people that help us as far as the families of these band members and everything else, but we really need the help of the board. We need some type of funding, some type of help from them. And that's all I need to say, and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Oscar Alvarez.
I just wanted to ask, can we get information about, the board get information about the instructor, how the instructor's being paid? Thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't looking that way. Peripheral vision isn't good. Sorry, go ahead.
Good evening, board members. My name is Oscar Alvarez. I'm currently the Booster Rowland Music Program President. I am here on behalf of two parties. One, as a parent, second, as the booster. But first, I want to talk about parents. I have two kids currently in the music program. One who is angelic, which he plays the trombone, and my second son plays at Rowland High School for the drumline. The difference and the discrepancy I have come to find out is that in the elementary school, they have instructors with no fees at all, and it's free lessons to the kids, which they encourage them to join and to play an instrument of art. Now, on the second part is I have my son in drumline, which is fully 100% funded by us parents, and we are paying for the instructor's fees. I currently pay $2,000 a year because he plays for the regiment and then for drumline. That is just our fair share, but what we call fair share, but it's a fee of $2,000. That is just to have him in the program, but that's not including the miscellaneous costs. Like my Vice President Roy Amata said, that we support all our students. We have grown to have much love to all the students. We have seen them as our own, not just my son. But when my son first came into this program, he transitioned from Alvarado into Rowland High School. My son was handed down a wear-down harness which supports his drums while he's playing. My son came home one day, introduced it to me. He said, "Dad, can you try to help me to fix it? Because it's hurting my back and everything." I try to do whatever I can to refurbish his harness. I couldn't do it. I even broke it from trying to repair it. I went and purchased him a $300 brand new harness just so he could play the instrument that he enjoys and loves playing. Last year when we were in our final competition over in Ontario, my son was playing out in his performance, which they are being judged by many others, because again, they're trying to place to, come in first place. While he was performing, and like Alvo mentioned, that the instruments are all wearing down. My son's drum set, a protective shield we had, it was falling apart, which my son could have ended up getting hurt. I asked for the district to help us fund this program. I'm running out of time, but if you guys would like, I will be more than happy to tell you more. Thank you.
Ela Kanadin.
Good evening. I am Ella, and I'm going to be talking about the Performing Arts Center and its issues, specifically about how people on Rowland High School campus do not have access to it, even though it is on our campus. But before I get to that, I would like to talk about what I mentioned with my teachers. Teachers have said that there hasn't been any communication about the new Performing Arts Center, about people wanting to schedule events. They all agree that it would be nice if they gave updates about several issues, but they don't. And even if there are any issues, it takes very long to hear something, so they have no idea what's going on. They all agree that the people behind the Performing Arts Center need to be way more transparent, because now there's no events that are being held, and I'm sure you guys didn't just spend $8 million on a facility to just stand there. From my personal experience, for the spring musical this year, it took a very long time to schedule a date. We didn't even know if we were going to perform in the new theater. We had to make sure we chose a production that would work both in our little theater and the new PAC. Overall, now, getting back to my statement earlier, it would be useful for someone to just have the keys, since it is on our campus. It would help with having rehearsals as well, so there's no difficulties transitioning from rehearsing in our original spaces to the big theater in such a limited amount of time. We don't have to use all the equipment, so we could just use the stage for our rehearsals. I understand that the Performing Arts Center is the district's, but it is on Rowland High School's campus. And I find it baffling how not a single person on our campus has access to it. There's so many things we can do with the new theater, such as rehearsals and other events for theater, dance, choir, band, orchestra. But due to the district's lack of transparency, this new state-of-the-art building is just standing there and has limited to no use. That is why I believe someone on campus should have the keys. The district saying it's the district's isn't an excuse for us not to use it. Thank you for your time.
Julie Chung?
Julie.
Regarding the dance program, Julie Chung? Okay. I think that concludes our public comment section. Since it was fairly long, we'll take a 5-minute recess so people can take care of necessities. So we'll be back.
Disinfect all our classrooms at least once a week. That involved all the different departments. Our nutrition services has begun brown bagging, making bags, lunches, developing drive-up plans just in case if we're to implement things like that. So there's a lot of team effort led by Dr. Mitchell. And of course, that's what you want from us as a board. But I want to thank all the administrative services for all the work that they've done with this. Back to the presentation. So, as always, the budget is a living document, and the budget always has 2 cycles in the process that are constantly in motion. As you can see, we're in the second interim. We're starting to develop the preliminary budget for next year, and that'll be confirmed at the May revise of what assumptions to use. Again, we're here. March 15th is the deadline for the second interim that we need to present to the county, and Aubrey will be driving this after tomorrow morning, straight there. The second interim report is required by the California Education Code. It shows actual expenditures from July 1st, 2019 to January 31st, 2020, and projections based on those actuals, budgeted activities, and other anticipated costs. The interim report illustrates whether the district can meet its fiscal obligations for the current year and 2 subsequent years. There are 3 different certifications that a district can receive. One is positive, which the district will meet its fiscal obligations for the current and 2 subsequent years. A qualified budget, certification, which the district may or may not meet its fiscal obligations for the current and 2 subsequent years. And a negative certification, the district will not meet its fiscal obligations for the current and 2 subsequent years. This table shows the adopted budget for information only and also calculates changes from the first interim and this second interim. From this slide, we can see both revenue and expenditures have increased from the first interim report. The increase in revenue, there's an increase in revenue of $1.7 million, and that was due to the unduplicated percentage increase from 77.28% in the first interim to today of 79.59. On January 23rd was the certification date for our CalPAS. And we certify at that point what our students, the number of our students, and also how many qualify to be in supplemental concentration grant. We increased that percentages, increasing our revenue in supplemental concentration. We also reflected in this is a $1 million increase in special ed discretionary funding one time. In this presentation, we have additional revenues that we have added to our second interim. And this is based upon, although we don't have a collective bargaining agreement, but this is based upon if we were to have a collective bargaining agreement. So you see an increase of a potential on-schedule and off-schedule salary increase, a potential early retirement incentive, a potential increase in medical benefit cap. Also, there's additional expenses for building services, maintenance vehicles, and also some technology infrastructure upgrades. The total additional expenditures are $7.9 billion, with $5.3 million in 3 areas: certificated salaries, classified salaries, and benefits. Services and other operating expenditures also increased by $2.1 million. Most were for one-time purchases or services like Wi-Fi access points, vehicles, and a potential early retirement incentive contract. The second portion of the second interim is the multi-year projection. The county wants to see the district will remain fiscally solid for the next 2 years. What do we take into consideration? We go visit the governor's budget, and the governor's budget included a 3.26 COLA for the 1920 school year and a 2.9 for the 2021 school year for regular and special education funding. There was no one-time funds at this time. There was discussion of one-time funds for special ed though. Here are the assumptions used for the multi-year projections. COLA for 2021, 2.9. For 21-22 is 2.71. Lottery, 153 per ADA. And the cost index was 2.99. We also don't state the potential, we just share the potential increases for salaries and for medical cap. Here are the multi-year projections for the unrestricted. By including the potential salary and benefit increase in the multi-year projections, we show a deficit spending for the 2021 and 21-22 school year, bringing the ending balance down to $24.7 million by 21-22. Here are the following revenue adjustments compared to the first interim. As I shared, we built the budget based upon a 3% COLA, and the governor's workshop, it was 2.29. We hope that it'll be higher, but we're not sure at this time. That decreased our revenue by close to $1 million. But again, the work that we did with nutrition services and all the different departments of really working with Brian and also the data teams going out and really sending information out to our parents to classify them correctly on their income, we're able to increase, again, the free and reduced, increasing our supplemental concentration grants. So that work reflected an increase of unduplicated count of 76%, 76.46% to 80%, increase an additional $2.9 million in 2021. Also, since our attendance was higher this year, based upon what we projected, we were able to increase our AD by 76 students because this year's attendance will fund us for next year. For the 2021, the work that we did, the COLA was also reduced, and it was reduced by $873,000. But the work again that we did, bringing our supplemental concentration from 75.36 to 80.3, brings an additional $4.1 million in the 21-22 school year. In this multi-year projections, we put a collective bargaining agreement over 3 years of potential collective bargaining agreement over 3 years. That potential salary increase would be $4.9 million in 2021, an additional close to $400,000 in health benefits. We're also reducing one-time expenditures that we had in this current year. For 2021-22, also it illustrates a salary increase of 4.9 and additional ongoing benefits of $396,000. Please note that this potential increase of 4.9 for salary is a one-time and would not be in the 22-23 school year. This slide shows the multi-year projections for our restricted funds. Overall, we'll be deficit spending to reduce the restricted ending balance. Again, in general, these funds have an identified purpose and should be spent for the students and program that designated for. We'd like to take some time to go over our ending balance or reserves. This slide, the second image shows the district unrestricted ending fund balance to be a total of $33.5 million, which is broken down to specific assignments such as decline enrollment, and that's at the bottom, of $10 million. So what does decline enrollment mean? Decline enrollment would mean if we would have less students, we could have a soft landing to avoid layoffs. That's why we put layoffs there. Instructional material, programs, emergency preparedness, student textbooks, and student technology are earmarked in the ending balance. This slide shows the pie chart of how the ending balance is assigned. As you can see, the section of the pie that are shown in blue are all dedicated to instruction classroom purposes. It's around 42% of the ending balance. The 17% is the actual required percent. It's actually, that's what's required of the ending balance, which actually equals 3%. This slide shows the district's restricted fund balance and how it's broken down. Again, the restricted fund balance belongs to programs which generate the funds such as Medi-Cal, MA, routine maintenance, and many scholarship and grants. Finally, I would like to highlight that the ending fund balance on both restricted and unrestricted funds are showing a downward trend for the next 3 years. At the second interim, $33.5 million for unrestricted in 14, going down to 24 and 10, so $34 million in 3 years. And again, the bulk of this is based upon some one-time expenditures this year and a potential collective bargaining agreement over the next 3 years. The Administrative Service Division recommends to the board to approve the Rowland Unified School District report with a positive certification and to be submitted to Los Angeles County of Education for their approval. I'd like to thank you, and at this time we'll take any questions. I'm sorry I was so quick. I'm trying to respect the time.
Questions?
Thank you very much for calculating the rates and benefits for our employees so that we can see it. Also, I noticed CalSTRS and CalPERS. I'm surprised that CalPERS is going up higher than CalSTRS. And I just have a question on page 17, the classroom grant. Could you explain that?
It's still in development stages with Cabinet to have some set-aside money for our schools so they can actually go the extra step, whatever they're looking for in their classroom to enhance the instructional program. It's not defined yet the amount or the amount of grants, but over the next few years we want to be able to offer that opportunity for our schools to be able to, or our classroom teachers to be able to apply for them. We see a lot of sometimes these funding sources. We want to say, let's do a grant here first before you do an outside funding source.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you for the positive rating and also for your hard work, everybody on the team. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a couple questions. People have asked questions about the reserves, and I I'd just like to have you clarify that it's not 55 million. It is total, but we can only spend 33 million of that, which it shows on slide 12, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes. If
34, actually, 33 million.
Well, yes. At the time of the first interim, the $55 million was basically adding the like 37 to, I think it was 36 and 18 million. It was different. But yes, really when you calculate it, and I try to share that in the first interim, when you calculate the reserve, when you do the 3% required reserve, you look at all the expenditures in the restricted and unrestricted side, and then you divide it by what your ending balance is, and your ending balance in the unrestricted, and also your Fund 17. So we have $0 in Fund 17. Because when your restricted amount is earmarked for how you're supposed to spend it. So that's why you don't put that into it. We do have a healthy reserve. The district has been very fiscally prudent, and we do have a healthy reserve, and that's the reason why we've always calculated separately. We've calculated it where it's unrestricted to restricted. So if you look to slide 20, I share the percentages there. And the percentages go from 25 to 22 to 18%. If you were to calculate the ending balance of restricted, unrestricted expenditures and just the unrestricted side, it'd be close to 14%. That we actually, since we know we do have $10 million on the restricted side, we try to be really fair with it, just to calculate them separately.
And since we've got at least a couple people that work here, that don't come all the time, maybe you could explain why we don't spend our reserves for ongoing expenses? Like
Well,
salaries. Why don't we just pay for all, why don't we spend all of it?
Well, at one point, if you were to have ongoing expenses and you were to use if you use your savings account for ongoing expenses, at one point your savings account is going to end. So that's why it's not really prudent to be able to do that on the long term, is because at one point those funds will expire unless there's new funds to replace it.
And if I did my math right, that $33 million, it would pay for approximately 4 months of salaries for the district. Is that correct, or did
I would have to check with Aubrey, but I don't think it would reach
Just
4
roughly.
years. Probably.
So,
Yes.
you know, it goes pretty fast if we don't pay attention to what we're doing. Okay.
Any other questions? The district's contribution to STIRS and CalPERS, is that recalculated annually?
It's projected, it's actually plateaued this year, and it starts going down just a snippet on the STIRS. The PERS, the CalPERS, it still continues going up. The PERS continues to go, it's about 25, almost 25% next year. So for every dollar you spend, you get spend under 25 cents for the contribution for on the classified side.
The reason I'm asking that is that, as you're aware, in the last month or so, there's been changes in our economic development in the state of California, as well as the federal government, and the stock market, where CalPERS and STIRS is. Based on that downturn, can they adjust that contribution to make up for that downturn?
Well, it wasn't too long ago that we were contributing 8.25%, and I, as an employee, and the employer was doing a match. They capped it out for the employee at 10%, 10.25, I believe, but we're up to 18.3. So yes, it can be recalculated. It's supposed to plateau and flatline, but it depends. If it can't fund itself, they will have to make adjustments. That's the one reason why you see on the classified side first, they meet regularly. It doesn't require them as much to be able to recalculate. So you obviously see a constant recalibration on the per side.
Thank you. Any other questions? We can have a motion.
We did.
Oh, we did. So we just need a vote now. All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All those, any of those opposed? Okay, we have a motion and it's approved to submit the report. The next item on the agenda is Measure R, 2012 General Obligation Bond Financial and Performance Audit. Can I have a motion and a second by the board to ask to accept the 2018-2019 Measure R 2012 General Obligation Bond Financial and Performance Audit as submitted by Nigril PC.
I'll move to accept.
I'll second.
I'll now turn it over to Dr. Mitchell.
Perfect, I'm gonna volley it back to Alex Flores.
Yes, today we have Peter Glenn from Nigril, our independent auditor that was here to give a brief overview of the audit and also answer any questions.
Good evening, everyone. As Alex had said, I'm here to present some. Good evening, everyone. My name is Peter Glenn. I'm with Nigril, and I'm here to present the Measure R audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2019. And I'm going to be very brief. Basically, the audit consists of two pieces. So it's the financial audit of the sub-fund where those Measure R funds are held in the building fund. And so we expressed an unmodified opinion on those financials, which basically means that those financials are fairly stated and in line with GAAP. And then the second piece of the audit concerns the performance audit, and that information starts back on page 13. And although it's only a 2-page write-up there, really that's where the bulk of the work is done, which is the performance testing, the contract testing, and the expenditure testing. If you look at the second bullet point, you can see that a fair amount of invoices were tested, a very high percentage was tested. And also we visited one of the sites, Rowland High School, and took a look at a couple of new areas where some of the funds were expended. We didn't identify any exceptions during any of our procedures. We didn't note any deficiencies in internal controls. So that's certainly a testament to the district and the fiscal team. And also, we didn't have any recommended adjustments when it came to the financial piece. So it was a clean audit with unmodified opinion, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
I just always ask you this every year. Are there any red flags that we should be paying attention during future years?
Yeah, there were
headed in the right direction?
no red flags that we're in. And just so you know, if we do run into something like that, we'll bring it to the district's attention before this point.
Any other questions? Comments? I just want to make one. On page 13, the district board and the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee are provided with a performance and audit report as required under the requirements. That's something that when Mr. Flores took over the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, the transparency there and the involvement of the committee and the information that committee gets has increased 100-fold. That didn't have that before you took over the bond committee, oversight bond committee. So thank you, and Aubrey and whoever else makes those reports up for the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. They really get all the information they need inside that in those meetings. Any other questions, comments? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the report?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The report is accepted as presented. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
CBOC for a 2-year term in compliance with the CBOC bylaws.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussions?
It's very nice that she'll do this again. I hear she does an outstanding job.
Yeah, as a board representative to that committee, I second that. She runs a very tight and well-organized meeting. No other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. to appoint Susan Bondor, second, another term. English Learners Master Plan. And I have a motion and a second to approve the 2020 English Learner Master Plan.
I'll move. I'll second.
Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The English Learner Master Plan is approved. Cooperative agreement between Rowland Unified School District and Mount San Antonio College. I have a motion and a second to approve the cooperative agreement between the Rowland Unified School District and the Mount San Antonio College Summer School Instruction Program.
I'll move. I'll second.
Any discussion?
It's a great program for our students.
Yeah, it's no cost to us, and they're going to do this. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I go to a lot of events at Mount SAC, and Mount SAC in general is very supportive of community programs and community education. And this is just one example. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is the contract agreement between Rowland Unified School District and Fort Net Security Incorporated, DBA FSI Inc., RFP bid number 2019/20R12. And I have a motion and a second to approve the contract agreement between the Rowland Unified School District and Fort Net Security Inc.
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion, questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Contract agreement between Rowland Unified School District and NIC Partners, Inc., RFP bid number 2019/20R14. And I have a motion and a second to approve the contract agreement between the Rowland Unified School District and NIC Partners, Inc.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. 2020 California School Board Association CSBA Delegate Assembly Election. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Jeffrey Delatorre. I liked what he wrote, and I also met him. He went to the special arts, art special, what was that called?
The very special.
The very special arts. And he was very good with the students, and I would like to recommend voting for him.
What district?
Hacienda La Puente.
We've already got 3 on there, too, don't they?
Well, there's close by.
Are we just, anybody you want, are we just asking for?
Nominations, I have one.
I like, there's a fellow that I've gotten to know named Florencio Briones. He's, except for this office, I've gotten to know him through the Sunshine Park meetings on the north side, and he's interested also.
Are these nominations or we're voting?
He's
an El Monte.
El Monte High School junior, right?
We're just discussing right now.
Yeah, then.
Mr. Chen, do you have one?
I support neighbor
Okay.
You probably have somebody different.
Okay, I personally feel that Hacienda La Puente already has 2 on the board. This will give him 3 from one school district. I don't think that's, doesn't represent the district that board is supposed to represent. You have 3 from one district. I personally like Nancy Armenta. She's a social worker by background. And she's been very much involved in parent involvement in education. She works with family services, child and family services. And she's a team leader and a team worker. And she has 18 years of experience working with children's services. And she's with the Rosemead School District. So,
Can I add on mine? Also, when I was reading, he's a teacher and a counselor, and he still has that profession right now. So I thought it's really good to have somebody in the teaching profession to be on there.
okay, you want me to make a motion?
I move that we vote for Jeffrey Delatorre to be one of our CSBA candidates.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Split two.
Nay.
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 We have a split vote, 2-2.
So the motion does not pass.
It did not pass. Okay, the second one, Lynn, you have,
You know, I'll rescind that if you feel the person that you're recommending is well qualified. I don't know Mr. Briones as well as you do, so, as you know that you're candidate, so I'll take mine.
okay, so we'll put Nancy Armenta from Rosemead School District. Yeah, I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so 3-1, so it carries. So Nancy Armenta.
It's okay.
Okay, the next item is new classified supervisory position and job description, safety operations supervisor. Have a motion and a second to approve the new classified supervisory position and job description for safety operations supervisor.
I'll move.
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion? Okay. Before the meeting, I did have a question on that as to who this person was and why it was being developed. And after being explained to me, I support the concept of having a lead person. This is not like the chief of police or anything like this. It's a lead person, basically. Okay, any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Position is approved for new classified supervisory position and job description. New classified supervisory position and job description for risk and benefits supervisor.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion, questions?
We need to tighten up that department.
And I understand this is following the elimination of the risk manager position for the district. So this is not an additional position, but it's in place of. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, new classified position for job description for risk and benefits supervisor is approved. And then new classified director, job description and position, director of construction. Have a motion and a second to approve the new classified management position and job description for director of construction.
I'll move.
Any discussion?
Actually, Dr. Mitchell, maybe you can answer. Explain to the audience why this position is necessary.
And actually, I'm going to defer that to Dennis.
I'm sorry.
This has been working on that.
I just wanted to understand better the necessity of this position.
So
It's 6K.
So the position of the Director of Construction is one in which the department feels that would be a cost savings in the long run. And when the cabinet started, there was a construction program manager, which was quickly eliminated for a major cost savings. With the construction that is going on in the district right now, there is a need for someone to manage this on a day-to-day basis at a level of a management position.
Someone to represent the district when we've got big projects going on like the Oswald one.
Yes, Oswald work really hand in hand with Mr. Flores through these projects.
Right.
So it's only for construction rather than this?
It's for modernization and new construction, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And didn't you mention it was too difficult right now for one person to try to do everything? That's right.
It's overtime.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of overtime for
And
one person.
This will avoid it.
And so this will avoid that.
Thank you.
there's a lot of questions that are asked before the meeting to get clarifications on these, so there's a lot of discussion that goes on. Okay, any motion? Is there any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. And 6L, second reading and approval of the board policy 5125.1, release of directory information. Can I have a motion and a second to approve board policy 5125.1, release of directory information?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Resolution SO 1920, sub 15, School Bus Driver Day, April 28, 2020. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number SO 192015, proclaiming April 28, 2020 as School Bus Drivers Day?
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions?
Just a comment. These bus drivers work really hard, and their jobs aren't easy with all these kids, and there's only one driver in charge of all these kids, so it's well-deserved having this day for them.
I tell you, this driving down Colima, I don't know how they do it every day. And then with all the road closures and everything, you don't know what's going to be open, what's going to be closed from day to day. And then having a split shift, I tell you, I admire these bus drivers.
I'm so glad we have a day for them.
Yeah. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to add too that they are going to have a little celebration in the Transportation Department.
Same day?
And nice if we can all make it over there.
Be nice.
At the same day?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, we got the invitation.
Same day. Yeah, good people going behind it too. Change in board education meeting schedule, cancel meeting scheduled for March 26, 2020. Have a motion and a second to approve the change in 2019-2020 Board of Education meeting calendar to cancel the study session scheduled for March 26, 2020.
I'll move.
Question? Comment?
We're going to have an awards then, right? Well, we might. Might not.
Originally, the intent was, yes, that we were replacing that meeting with student recognition, where we were bringing our students together from across the district. That has been postponed.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, that was the reason.
So we're still waiting.
So we can free up that day on our calendars?
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. March 26th is now a free day. Schools and Communities First Initiative. This item has been added for discussion and is to provide direction to staff regarding California Schools and Communities First Initiative. As background, the California Schools and Communities First Initiative is a potential statewide ballot measure that seeks to make changes to some provisions of the California landmark 1978 property tax limitations. Property 13. Schools and Communities First is the first qualifying initiative that would make changes to the Proposition 13 in over 40 years. The ballot initiative would raise an estimated $12 billion, that's with a B, in local revenue to schools and local governments by amending the tax rates for the commercial and industrial properties. This item is for discussion and questions. There'll be no vote taken on it. And directions to staff on what you want to do.
Explain the 12 billion in local revenues. I'm just looking at this. So that's to be divided throughout the state for local revenues for schools, is that correct?
Correct.
Any other questions?
Potential earning.
I've been researching this on internet. You can always Google everything. And it's something that there is some controversy behind this. It's kind of like Prop 13 that we recently had, and that B. So I still would like some further information on it. I'll tell you why. I read arguments for it, and I read arguments against it. A lot of the arguments against it is that this will raise costs of doing business for businesses because their taxes are going to go up, and that it will raise prices of goods that they produce, and that it could eventually end in some layoffs because there will be more expenditures to operate their business, which is the bad side. The good side is that it produces all this money for schools, and it really gives their fair share of being a business versus a homeowner. So I would like to know if we could get some additional information from the board, maybe a consultant or a speaker to come and speak to us.
Could you get two, one pro and one
Yeah.
con, maybe so we can hear both sides thoroughly?
And then we could discuss it with them and find out what the pros and cons are on both sides.
Because I read somewhere, like a business that had got planned for, let's say, 20,000, and now 40 years later, it's worth a lot more, and so they're not paying the property taxes, so it would be good that they pay more. But I would like the pros and cons too, to see. Because it sounds good, but we don't know.
Especially, if it has the potential to result in layoffs. We have to hear about that too. So we would like to give instruction to the superintendent.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, the direction that you're given to me is to seek out one person who would present a pro position and another person that may present a con position. This to present information to the board in an upcoming meeting.
But somebody
Or in
expert,
writing.
not just off the street.
Okay.
Or written.
Do you want it
Wouldn't
to
it
be
be written too?
presentation at the board, or do you want it in written form?
Yeah, I think it'd be good for the community. The community eventually, if it gets on the ballot, will have to vote on it. It'd be good for them to get the information.
And let us know how you select the presenter.
I will.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay.
Okay, so we'll get more information on that so we can make an informed decision on that. People personnel. Next, we'll move to people personnel. Do I have a motion and a second to approve stipulated expulsion of student number 192007 from schools and programs of Rowland Unified School District effective March 13, 2020, with referral to the county or alternative school outside of the district for placement in the educational program?
I'll move.
A second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Can I ask?
Aye.
Sure.
Is that the first one we discussed? Because I don't have my book.
That's okay, let me double check. It is the first one.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. RUS student 192008, suspended stipulated expulsion. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the suspended stipulated expulsion of student 192008 effective March 13, 2020 with placement at Alvarado Intermediate School?
I move.
This is the suspended.
Right.
This is the suspend, I don't think he said
Oh, suspended stipulated expulsion.
Sorry.
Yeah, suspended stipulated expulsion. And this would be placement at Alvarado Intermediate School. Okay, I have a first from Ms. Friedman. Do I have a second?
I second.
A second from Mr. Chen. Questions, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
We have 3 in favor, 1 opposed, motion carried. Consent calendar. Next is the consent calendar. We will approve all the items in the consent with the exception of any items that were pulled for separate discussion or action. Can I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
A second?
Although, any discussion? Okay, let's have discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried to approve the consent calendar. Now we move to, we are now in the, on the conference section. I'd like to notify the public that pursuant to Education Code 5019C, The Los Angeles County Committee on School District Organization will be conducting a public hearing on a proposal to establish trustee areas and trustee area voting within the Rowland Unified School District on March 27, 2020. The public hearing will take place in the boardroom of the Rowland Unified School District at 1830 South Nogales Street, Rowland Heights, California, 91748 at 6:30 p.m. And I believe a notice of this has also been in a paper of general circulation too. Right. Okay, now we move to board comments. We'll start with Angelina Price, and she's not here. So then we'll go to...
Okay.
So I get Angelina's time, and we'll go to Donna.
Oh, that's not fair. I want some of her time. Okay. Thank you all for staying so late. Oh my goodness, a long meeting. And before I talk about where I've gone since the last month, I just want to say our superintendent, Julie, is everywhere. She was at the Rowland Coordinating Council meeting, at the special arts thing. She's everywhere. And in fact, when that student said, oh, well, you guys need to go to our campuses, I know she's there all the time at all the campuses. And I go too, like Rowland, I was there last year like 10 times and this year like 5, so it was surprising to hear that. So thank you for all your dedication, all the work you do. It's so nice. I know most superintendents do not do that. Like, I think I saw mine once in my classroom and maybe 2, and I taught 36 years. I didn't even know or ever see them. So I think we do a terrific job of that. Thank you. Okay. So some things that have happened since last board meeting, focused classroom school visits to Blandford and Hurley, and the focus was math, and I saw outstanding learning and teaching in every classroom. I didn't want to leave. The lessons were so much fun and educational. It was really nice to watch. Alvarado's showcase was really wonderful. I brought the t-shirt to show you. So you got a t-shirt like this. And then on this side it says, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. And so that was really neato. And the kids were amazing. They really wanted to share their learning. The intervention ELD class had many things. One thing was to give each other a compliment. So the student had to say something nice about you, and then you say something nice too. You can tell students work very hard on all their projects. It was really exceptional how they spoke about their learning. At Killian Elementary and Ibarra, we were able to surprise them at the board and cabinet and superintendent, and it was really nice to congratulate them on being a California Distinguished School, and kept Killian for 2 years in a row. So the staff really appreciated it, and it was really nice to do that. A lot of fun. A big cake and everything. Thank you, Gina, for putting that all together. It turned out really nice. At Ibarra, the 6th grade exhibitions, outstanding. Students did great presentations in the other classrooms, and students were engaged listening to the 6th graders. Also, the 6th graders planned an activity after their presentation. And there were some activities like gender stereotypes, and they were showing a video where you saw a boy and a girl, and they had something, and they put something in there like a prize or something, and then always the boy got more or something like that. And so they say, well, why? Oh, well, because girls aren't as good as boys. And then you hear them going, but that's not right. And you hear all these kids, complaining about that, and that was good. Unemployment, gender equality video also on interviewing students about men. This is unbelievable. Men get $1 an hour and women get 79 cents an hour. I had no idea. I learned that. And Nogales High School, they had Parent 101 night, and you got this big folder with a whole bunch of information. And then they presented all of their different departments, which was really nice. All parents received the folder with great information about Nogales High School. It was great branding. So many opportunities for students to succeed. There were great presentations, and student performances were fantastic. The booths afterwards were great, and students and staff were there to answer questions. And also there were tours of the campus and students. And the student that walked me over said that he was looking forward to graduate. He was a senior, and he wanted to be an engineer and was planning to go to college. And I continue to enjoy visiting our outstanding schools, observing all of these thought out lessons, as well as great teaching and learning. At Telesis, when I was there, they had their 7th grade awards assembly, and Principal Johann Schmidt, spoke about being caring citizens and actively listening. Students received awards for caring, honor roll, and more. 69 students are receiving counseling up to 6th grade, which I thought that was really good. Today we were at Santana High School, and the counselor took us to her room and shared that she sees every student. Her goal is twice a month. And that was really amazing to hear that. I was really happy about that. At Blandford Elementary, they had a math family night. The TOSA, Sarah Dovetko, applied and received a scholarship for this to happen through California Math Council. It was well attended and fun learning, a whole bunch of tables with a lot of activities for the kids to play. Villacorta read in Mrs. Gonzalez's 6th grade classroom a book about a problem that she chose. And I really loved reading it, and then we discussed it, how you have a problem and you're upset about it. And he said, let me tackle this in the book. And then they tackled it and realized it wasn't, that it wasn't that bad of a problem, was able to succeed over that. And so that was good. And the students were quiet and well behaved. The Very Special Arts Festival, there were 500 pieces of art that were submitted. It was so wonderful to help giving out the awards and seeing the students so excited from Hacienda de La Puente and Rowland Unified School District. It was crowded. And Principal of the Day Luncheon, very nice. So many scholarships were given out to all the high schools and adult ed for Bassett, Hacienda de La Puente, and Rowland School Districts. This was the 27th year. Rowland High School Jazz Band was the entertainment and sounded great. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Tonight we have long community comments, and we have a lot of parents from Chinese community and bring up the coronavirus to our attention. There's one thing I want to share with everyone. They did not mention why they are feeling so strong, and their feeling is much different from the rest of the world, because one-child policy. For most of family immigrant to the States, because they want their children to have a safe, good education, and America is their top choice. And that's the main reason they give up their professional, give up their everything in their home and come to the United States is for their kids. And most of them has only one child, so they can lose their child. So the life, the feeling, the life of their child is very different. It's very that's why they're so emotional, and that's the one I observe, and because I communicate with them recently, they talk to me and ask for it. So they are afraid. They are afraid. Their environment is not safe anymore. They feel that they need to do more. So all of the speakers today had only one request: is they want to put their child out and let them stay home and won't have a chance to get the virus out of the school and stay home and they feel that safe. So I want Dr. Mitchell give them an answer and explain to them clearly what is the policy, what's our policy, what's the county, what is regulation, what is it to do, and give them an answer, and the parents will feel comfortable and feel we have a safe environment, and if possible, and see what their choices are, their options are. So that will help the community a lot. I attended the RCCCC meeting representing the board the night, and thanks to Dr. Mitchell supporting, answer some of the questions about the coronavirus and the negotiation. And I made a report on the meeting. And I was very happy to be part of the team who celebrated the Mara's California Teachers School celebration and visit the campus. And very special art festival at the Hacienda Community Center, and it's amazing what the kids have done. It would have been a good week, and I hope everybody stay safe and stay healthy.
It was explained to me that the reason why so many of these Chinese families were concerned, not because the kids are going to get it, but they can carry it home to elderly parents who live in a family. So I think that has a lot to do with it. It's been a busy 2 weeks. We've worked Dr. Mitchell to death, and she's been getting work to do on her own. But I do want to thank all the employees and parents and students who spoke tonight. I know I've spoken to Mr. Lohman about this, so I'm not giving a secret if I say that when you're speaking to groups in public, you have to be so careful that you don't say something you can't take back. And that should take you through life. I told Shay about this. I've got one family member that it's hard for me to get along with, and because she says stuff that's hurtful, and you don't forget those things. You go on and you go on your way, but I think we can be a little kinder to each other and still get our points across. But I want to thank everybody who spoke tonight. The demeanor was much better. We had in the past some pretty tough meetings that were full of energy and vim and vigor, but tonight everybody got their points across well. The board does understand, regardless of what some of the students say, we do work hard. We do go out to the campuses. We may not get to their classes. We go around and we visit classes. We go to events. And nobody does that more than Mrs. Friedman. So, I just hope everybody understands it's a tough time for everybody. And we will get through this, but let's get through it together. So, thank you.
I forgot 2 things before you go. I'm sorry, they were my notes here. Telesis, I really enjoyed their presentation. The kids were wonderful. And I forgot to mention, very happy to have a positive certification, all that hard work with Alex and Aubrey and Corey, right? And team. So thank you so much. It means a lot that all your hard work paid off. So thank you. Okay, thank you, David. Sorry.
I just want to second what Ms. Evankamp just said, that, we've been sitting up here and been hearing quite a few evaluations of our ability to govern this district, and especially comments about our superintendent, Dr. Mitchell. And I just feel that it's time for me to say something, because I agree with Ms. Evankamp said, that sometimes words are more powerful than anything else, and they can hurt you more than anything. So I'm sorry if this takes a little bit longer tonight, but my comments tonight are mine alone and do not reflect the Rowland Unified Board, the cabinet, or superintendent. This past several months has been very difficult for many of us, and I'm just sharing my views as a result of it. Let me start by saying that the safety of our students, staff, and families have always been my top priority. I always appreciate your attendance at board meetings, because your input enables me to make an informed decision. And I also appreciate everybody that came out in the bad weather after work this evening. I know that your time is valuable, and when input is given in a written correspondence, I do read the letters. Submitting your input in writing provides you some protection from the exposure to the coronavirus. It also enables you to spend time with your limited, precious family that many of you have shared with the board in the past that you don't have time to do. Now I want to get to some of the activities in the past month. I had the privilege to visit Alvarado Showcase, Ybarra Academy IB presentations, Blandford Math Festival, Nogales Parent 101, solar boat races, focus visits to Hurley and Blandford to see how math is being taught, and the list goes on. Needless to say, these events demonstrated a paradigm shift in teaching. Teaching has become more interactive, and the students learning through critical thinking and understanding the process, not straight memorization, which is what it was when I went to school. I mention this because this shift in teaching has had an impact on how our schools are perceived by accrediting agencies. This sheet that has been recently redone is just a summary of all the recognitions that RUSD has received because of the hard work of our students, teachers, administrators, classified employees, and yes, the board and the cabinet. And I don't know if you've seen this new sheet, but this would hold up against any district that would try to equate to what we're doing. Many of our teachers have appeared with their students and received board recognition in past board meetings. In fact, some had even traveled to conferences to share their accomplishments with other school districts. I admire the work of these teachers, especially those who have been teaching for many years and had to make an adjustment to this new method of teaching. It's not hard to learn a new trick. However, despite all these awards and recognitions, comments at recent board meetings, and social media postings give a different picture of RUSD. This must be very confusing for our students and parents. Parents hearing those comments about staff may not know what is accurate. Are they to believe? The comments may have parents thinking twice before sending their child to RUSD, the same child that is the lifeline to our existence. As one parent stated in her letter, many of our parents are considering changing our kids to a different school district. No joke. Another parent stated in a letter to me, on social media, private schools, indicating that this is a choice that they have. Declining enrollment is already hurting our bottom line. This would only escalate it. Eventually, we will return to our normal state of all working together to be the best district in town. However, comments on social media do not go away. Once posted, they are there forever. Students leaving the district do not come back the next day. The damage caused by these actions in the heat of the moment will last far into the future. With the uncertainty of the stock market, issues surrounding the coronavirus, and the market down 2,000 points in several days, we don't know what the impact this will have on the economy and the future of school funding. More than ever, it is important for the district to think of the future and not be dependent on outside agencies or governments to pay its bills. We are all professionals and teach our students to solve problems by having a dialogue, keeping an open mind, and exploring all options through compromise. Our students hear, see, and read what you all post or say, yet we teach our students to be respectful. One can only imagine how confusing this must be for them. As one parent said, the kids are always the ones that are affected by adults acting like children. I still remember the strike when I was in high school. Are those the memories we want our current students to have from their high school days? Let's do what is right and set a good example for our students and community. Let's have a constructive dialogue and resolve issues. Our students and community deserves this. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve, I guess you don't have to return to closed session. So a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 9:25.